When we use the ESP32 development board for development, first, power the ESP32 development board. Power supply is simple. It's actually a very important thing. For example, the ESP32 development board uses a micro USB interface. Can provide power supply and upload data. We use this USB cable to directly plug in and power it. You can see the screen lights up, but there are some problems. You can see that there is another USB cable interface, which is the same. It works normally after power on. But these two USB cables are different. Everyone needs to pay attention. We have a lot of equipment now. Many devices come with a USB cable. You can see the plugs of these two USB cables have different logos. This white is the USB symbol we commonly see. The black one is actually a lightning symbol. So both of these lines can power this development board. But this black wire is only for power supply. It cannot upload programs. That is to say, this black line actually has only one positive and one negative line inside it. And this white line is a standard USB line. Inside, it is a multi-core, multi-strand cable. It connects to several USB protocols. This black one is just a power cord. So when we normally develop, be sure to use a standard USB cable. If you don't know whether your USB cable is a standard USB cable, first, you can use the development board to see if it can upload the program. If you cannot upload the program, you can use your mobile phone or other device to check. See if this USB cable can transmit. If you can't pass it on, that's the USB cable problem. So please note that you need to find a standard USB cable to program. In fact, the power supply. For a development board like this, USB is just a form of power supply. It provides 5 volts and grounding. 5 volts is its standard power supply voltage. This 3.3 volts actually cannot make the board work properly. 3.3 volts is generally the voltage used to power digital circuits. So we usually use this 5-volt pin for power supply. I haven't soldered this board. We'll demonstrate this to you using a titanium needle. Plug this pin directly into. I have a power bank here. The power bank uses USB TTL to connect to 5 volts and grounded. Let's connect these two lines. This power bank needs to be reconnected. You can take a look. This way the development board will work properly. You can see that the USB TTL has a power indicator light on. We actually only used its 5-volt power supply plus a grounding wire, powering the ESP32 development board. If you want to use this ready-made USB development board to make some other devices, for example, directly integrating some sensors or some other controller in it, I use another power supply. It is very inconvenient for me to use the USB port directly because the USB connector is so big after all. Then we can use its 5-volt connection for power supply. I don't have any welding here, so it's not very stable. If you want to use this pin, it is recommended to solder it. Generally speaking, power supply is very important. If its power supply is unstable, the entire development board works unstably. Therefore, everyone must use a standard 5-volt power supply. Generally speaking, the power supply current of the ESP3 to S3 development board should be above 100 milliamperes. It can supply power normally. Most of the normal USB can make it work normally. You can see that everything works fine. So let's summarize. First, you can use the 5 volts and ground pins to power. Other devices can be used. For example, a 5 volts power bank or other device. Connect it. Then you need to reach a current of about 100 milliamperes or more to make it work properly. Then when we download the program, be sure to pay attention. Our USB cable should be a standard USB. There should be a multi-strand USB cable inside. The standard one usually has a USB symbol on it, so you need to pay attention to it. Then if there is no symbol or other types of cables, please use your mobile phone or other equipment to check if it is a standard USB. Via standard USB, we can connect this development board to the computer. This development board is an interface of USB-DC. This development board is an interface of USB-DC, so it does not need a serial port driver. That is to say, I can directly connect this development board to the computer via USB. The computer can recognize it. It does not have a UART port chip, so there is no need to install serial port driver. You can directly upload the code and interact with this development board.